Hello everyone, this is The Mystic Patrol, a graphic novel designed by Anna, Edward, Gabriel, Nara, and Wafa. In The Mystic Patrol, best friends investigate a series of murders in the small town of Mystic, Pennsylvania. All their murders are linked with a mysterious blue goo that sends them on a journey to unlock the town's mysteries. In the small town of Mystic, best friends Emma and Luca are out one day and come across a murder scene of their beloved neighbor. They find a mysterious blue goo, and the science geek Emma collects some of it for sampling. The town's reactions are tame. But as more bodies are uncovered and the goo continues to be found, this turns into a serial murder issue in the town. While the police investigate a more traditional path and come to nowhere, Luca and the science geek Emma get closer to the truth. When looking for clues, they find dark secrets of their quiet town and get in the way of officials who then try to take them down. The story thickens as they get closer to solving the mystery that the town is apparently lagging in solving. In the Mystic Patrol, we have 6 main characters: Emma, Luca, Officer James Austin Jr., Mom, Luca's mom, and Dad, Emma's dad. Emma is a 17-year-old self-proclaimed science geek. She's determined, forceful when she speaks, mostly confident despite what people say about her. Very dope has been practicing karate since the 3rd grade. She maintains a helpful attitude while also offering realistic alternatives to theories Luca poses. She does a lot of research behind the theories and uses basic forensics to deduce basic clues from the murder. Luca, a 17-year-old, easygoing, funny, and argumentative boy. He's very interested in mystery novels and TV shows, and he's adamant in solving all murders based on what he thinks he remembers. He likes to argue insane theories sometimes, but after prompting from Emma, he usually comes onto her side, and she makes a lot of sense. Officer James Austin is a 47-year-old man, the lead officer on the murders. He's very stoic and cross a lot of the time. He tries to work hard on the cases and works tirelessly day and night to solve them. He dislikes Emma and Luca around the murder sites and dismisses them when they offer theories. He often kicks them out wherever they are and is very mad when they arrive somewhere that is related to a murder or leave before he does. He's very stern and strict when it comes to dealing with his only son. He has high expectations for him and puts pressure on him to one day enter the West Point and be an officer just like him. James Austin Jr. is a 17-year-old boy. James is the Officer Austin's only son. Very angry because there is so much pressure to be the perfect son from his father, he is expected to get perfect grades and follow family tradition to enter West Point. He is an overachiever in secret when it comes to academics, but he acts out in school. He is very rude, brash, and sometimes violent with other students. He picks fights with Emma and Luca often and gets angrier when they are unbored by it. The mom, Luca's mom. She's 45 years old, very supportive of Emma and Luca's adventures, often giving them some theories when she sees the kids stuck on an issue. She's married, but we don't see her husband, a very busy businessman. She loves mystery and novels, just like her son. Last but not least, we have Dad, Emma's dad, a 49-year-old single dad who lets Emma and Luca use his garage as headquarters for their researching. There are all of Emma's science equipment set up on crazy boards with all the theories they come up with. He offers emotional guidance when the kids feel too hopeless to go on.
The Mystic Patrol story will be presented as a traditional comic book with issues coming out every month. This mini-series will have 5 issues in its title, coming out as a sequential storyline in its original release. Each of these first 5 issues will have 30 pages of content each. As for what's inside, we would have a 9-panel grid of colored illustrations styled in the comic style of Hopeless Savages, illustrated by Christine Nori. Eventually, we are hoping that Christine Nori would also illustrate our comics. However, all the illustrations in this presentation are by independent artists.
Issue number 1. The majority of the first half of the issue will be setup of character personalities, showing Emma and Luca in neighboring houses, the interactions with their parents and each other. Start cut to James Jr. and his father called interactions at home. Their stories intersect on an average day at school. James Jr. releases his pent-up anger from his father on everyone he sees, and then Emma and Luca pass. He taunts them for being too close. The situation escalates, but an unnamed teacher breaks it up before real violence happens. They dismiss how it always happens. Later that week, Emma and Luca are walking home from school and find a dead body of one of their neighbors. There is a mysterious blue goo all over the body. Emma is immediately taken by it from a science point of view, and Luca starts to theorize what happened. They go home to investigate, and they found out that the goo is not a substance they recognize. The next day, Officer Austin talks about the murder on TV and says that it's just a routine investigation. Luca and Emma run to the station to explain what they found, but they were dismissed. This was a start of troubled relationship with Officer Austin. They all continue to investigate the murder, arriving at the same houses and suspecting the same people. They see parallels and multiple points of tension. When the police say that they found the culprit and arrest him, Emma and Luke are troubled and don't agree. As they run to the station to dispute this, they see James Jr. and they fight as James tells them not to negate his father. The issue and the fight ends with Officer Austin coming up to the kids and ripping them apart, and then another officer says that there has been another murder. Emma asks, was there goo? Issue number 2. This issue has Emma and Luca investigating the second murder, who is the assistant of the mayor. In investigating, they find that the city has a part of serial killers. The killer had not been caught, and most of the newspapers tried hard to suppress this news. They try to get through the officers in charge, but get ushered out every time. Mom helps them unlock a crucial piece of information in the murder's victim's murder and tries to get through to Officer Austin. None of them were heard. Issue number 3. This issue will be focused on James. We will see him go through the day at home and deal with his father, with flashback panels to see how his father treated him as a child. We will see him trying to suppress emotions, going into his room and crying, then bullying other kids, finding out about the past serial killers and in the town and how he reacts to them neutrally. The last quarter of the comic should shift focus to Emma and Luca investigating and walking to a suspected murder house. On their way, they fight James again. They both get taken into the police station for fighting, but James is free because he is the officer's son. Another murder is revealed while the kids are at the police station waiting to be picked up.
Much to Officer Austin's dismay, in this issue, Emma and Luca get much closer to solving the murder than he does. While he's out with friends at a bar, he jokes about wanting to arrest them to get them out of his way. Luca's mom overhears this and gets very angry and picks a fight with him. This leads to her getting arrested, and with a rush of adrenaline, they have a breakthrough with the goo and find out its origins. By tracing the products, they find that it's mixed with chemistry class liquids from their own school. And so the issue ends with the Mystic Patrol knowing exactly who the killer is. The murderer is revealed to be James Austin Jr. Emma and Luca try to tell the police station, but they are stopped. Officer Austin brushes them off very quickly. However, he goes home and thinks about this, and he drinks heavily. Emma and Luca, tired of the proper channels, run to confront James Jr. on their own. However, James Jr. gets angry and starts to lunge towards them. James Jr. is eventually disarmed and confesses to everything. However, it is revealed that Officer James Austin heard everything and gets very angry. In a drunken rage, Officer James Austin threatens a gun to his kid, Emma and Luca, and himself. A shot is fired and the audience does not know who is killed. And that is the end of the series. The murder mystery genre has been covered in comics for a long time. The comics that are presented here, such as Dirk Gently, Aoharu and Machine Gun, Goldie Vance and Misfit City, are all stylistically in the same genre. Dirk Gently especially is very related to Mystic Patrol, as it has a group of friends and amateur detective work. All of the other storylines have more of solitary murder mystery stories. However, when it comes to audience, Mystic Patrol can appeal to all of the audiences of these comics that are presented here.
This slide describes our chosen publisher. 551 Media Group is a new comic publisher led by Michael Bay that works to bring cutting-edge content across all media platforms. This will be the first YA mystery comic that will set us apart in their content and allow us to break through to the market. Now let's move on to our target audience, where we will detail which kind of readers will be likely to read and love our comic books so much that they can only wait impatiently for the monthly release of each new episode. Our first kind of readers will look like Pete. He's 15 and is a student. He's a serious student, but being social will not be his favorite activity, as he's kind of introvert. His imagination has no limit, which results in him being always lost in his thoughts. He loves video games and could love to picture himself as one of the detectives from our comic books. Our second kind of readers will look like Charles. As it is known, there are no specific age to enjoy reading comic books. Charles just reached his 50 years. Since his childhood, he loves reading comic books. As his job is tiring, he needs to relax his mind when he comes back from the office. He could do it through going through a sordid story, completely unreal, that he could share with his children.
So for our marketing strategy, we first want to do the initial release in English and later expand into other languages. And then we want to sell online worldwide, but we'd have sales in store in only the US and the UK. We also want to do a book release and a sign-in in stores featuring our author and our illustrator, as well as do press releases and ads in comic magazines and newspapers such as the Comic Journal, B&O, the New York Times, and The Guardian, because they're both based in the UK and into the US. And we also want to create active social media accounts for our comic book. So we'd have an Instagram account and a Facebook account to make it more engaging with our consumers, and also create a hashtag to trend and create more popularity. And then we want to create a promotional video as a way of advertising. So we'd have promotional videos on social medias and on browsers in terms of having it like a cookie. And we also want to have a speaking panel in the Comic Cons in London and in San Diego. To take it a step further, we want to do an extended portfolio as a brand for our comic book in 3 different industries, so in merchandising, TV, and video games. So for merchandising, we'd have 3 main products. We'd have collection toys, school and office supplies, and clothing in the theme of our comic book. And for the TV, we want to do a cartoon series, advertisements, and a movie possibly in the future. And for video games, we want to create video games on 3 different platforms such as Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo.